Administrator, Mr. Ronnie Berry, if he will, that he would lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance.
My pleasure, Mr. Chairman. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you will, we're going to have the invocation. If you will bow your heads with me. Father, we thank you today. We bless you again, Lord, for another opportunity for life, health, and strength. We praise and honor your holy name. Thank you for all those who have came today in one way or another. Some come to be spectators, but some come to be honored. And we're glad that we're able to do that service to them. Now, Father, we pray that your blessing upon this meeting. In Jesus' name, amen. We're going to move right along with the agenda. This time we're asking for a motion to approve the agenda. Make that motion. Okay, we get a second. All right, we got a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion concerning the agenda? Not? All in favor? All right, moving right along. On 4, approve of minutes, 4/26/17, 5/12/17 was a call meeting. Motion this time to approve minutes. Make that motion. Okay, a motion is a second. Second. Discussion concerning the minutes. Not? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, none opposed. At this time, we have with us the Honorable Judge Burch is with us, and according to the agenda today, he is with us to make comments. At this time, we will hear from Judge Burch. Judge?
Mr. Chairman, I certainly defer to the ball teams you have here that have done so well. I'm in no hurry.
Yes, sir. We've already started, so we're going to leave the agenda like it said.
Okay.
Thank you.
Certainly, I want to begin by thanking the council for allowing me a few minutes to spend with you this afternoon. We have some concerns that we need to talk about. Before I get into that, I hadn't had a chance to appear before council in the recent few months, and I want to thank County Council for the support they have given to the courts and the judiciary here. You have some wonderful facilities. Over the years, you've done improvements that are way out in front of many counties surrounding here that hopefully they will follow suit concerning your facilities. You have a beautiful courthouse. Unfortunately, like some other counties, I think there's been some roof problems. We're familiar with that over our way. And also, you have a very nice facility down the road a ways that we can use. It provides a little more security for court personnel. And we thank you for that. I hope to work with you closely in the years to come as we have to make other improvements. We used to have 4 circuit judges in the circuit. We had 2 resident circuit judges, 2 at large, and now through attrition, retirement, promotion, we're down to 2. So we're sort of spread thin in the 4th circuit, it being the largest geographic circuit that we have. I'm sure some of you have been pondering, I guess is the appropriate word, as to what I wanted to talk with you about today. And some of you probably with some apprehension about what I have to say. Let me say this. As you served today, so did I. I fully realize the pressures that y'all are under in fulfilling your duties that you got elected to here in Dillon County. You got citizens tugging at your sleeve, wanting this, wanting that, some of it possible, some of it impossible. 5 years I dealt with that myself. In the last 2 years of service on the Chesterfield County Council, I was vice chairman. As I say, I'm very aware of the difficulties that y'all face. I just wanted to take a few minutes today and talk with you about some of your duties, and hopefully we can keep you out of trouble. As some of you know, several years ago, unfortunately for me, and by the luck of the draw of the court assignments, I had to come to Dillon County and deal with some problems with the county council. And basically the problem then was use of county equipment, personnel on private property. And that resulted in an initial order which was agreed to in the long run, and then later on we had some more problems and another order was issued which was also agreed to by the respective attorneys representing various parties at that time. In several instances, I verbally thought I had made it clear that these permanent orders would apply not only to the elected officials at that time, but any future elected officials. And that has created a dilemma for me and the problem that I have today. And so we're going to try to correct that. Because I don't want to take a chance of taking any approach here unless everybody is on clear cut grounds of notice of what your duties are and what those orders meant. So in a few minutes I'm going to ask the sheriff to present some orders to you so we will have that on the record and there won't be any question about it. As I said, I did not come here looking for trouble. The last thing that I want to do is to be involved in running any political appointment or office or any county or municipal government. Nor do I want to be put in the place of being an investigator. But as I said, I was put in the unfortunate position that the court was drug into the matters that were presented to me back in 1992 as well. I think it was back in 2010. As some of you may be aware, a complaint was filed with the court several months ago about county council involvement in the alleged improper direction of county employees. And after that, no formal complaint was filed, but a verbal complaint was filed that county council members or member were trying to direct the county elected official into some matters that were should have been of no concern to council under the duties that are outlined by state statutes. So, without beating around the bush, there are two statutes on top of the orders that I have issued that you need to take strict notice of. One of which I will pass out to the members of council, which concerns your relationship with the employees that work under the direct control and command of your county administrator. It's 49660. Except for the purposes of inquiries and investigations, the council shall deal with county officers and employees who are subject to the direction and supervision of the county administrator solely through the administrator. And neither the council nor its members shall give orders or instructions to any such officers or employees. That's pretty clear cut. Now, as to elected county officials, you will have to refer and you can talk with your county attorney about obtaining these statutes, but these are the ones that control county elected officials and how you should conduct yourselves toward them. That is 4-9-30, 4-9-60. Anytime that you take on yourself, even though you may be under pressure by your constituents. Anytime you approach a county employee in violation of these statutes, you're asking for trouble. So I beg of you, familiarize yourselves with the law in this regard and try to abide by it. Now, I have met with the Attorney General, an Assistant Attorney General. I haven't met with Mr. Wilson, but an Assistant Attorney General was sent to me to meet with me about the complaint that was filed. They have agreed with me at this point that any further violations that are called to the court's attention should be dealt with under the contempt provisions of our law. They have agreed to assist the court in pursuing any contempt. And I don't want anybody to take this as a threat. This is just the way it's got to be. And I'm trying to explain it to you so everybody can think about it and avoid getting into a precarious situation in dealing with employees. But this is what will happen under normal circumstances. If the court receives a complaint, which should be an affidavit form, from an employee or an elected official, or from a citizen, that could trigger a rule to show cause to be issued for a county council, or any county official for that goes, to come before the court for possible contempt. If you are the alleged violator of the order, you will be given ample opportunity to respond to that rule of show cause. You will have a right to obtain counsel. Let me add a little bit to that. Under the circumstances, the county attorney may have been of no help to you because he would have to analyze any conflicts he has, so you could be put in a position that you're going to have to pay for an attorney out of your pocket, possibly. So don't get in a position to think you would be able to get free counsel without a lot of questions being answered. The court would then determine not only has there been a violation of the order, but also would determine if there has been a violation is what the appropriate sanctions could be. And as all of you know, probably in common knowledge, that could be a fine, could be jail time, or it could be a combination of both. The court will have to do an analysis to see how severe the contempt was, if they find so. Because it's not only me now, any judge can come in and enforce this. Please don't think it's me. Any judge that's assigned here, perhaps pass through, would have the authority to handle a contempt proceeding. They would have to determine whether it is serious enough to where it could possibly take a penalty of more than 6 months jail time. If the court determines that it could take more than 6 months jail time and or fine, that 6-month provision would trigger jury trial rights. So you would be able to ask the judge at that time for a jury trial, and they would have to determine if there was a contempt, and the judge would have to take it from the jury if they found so, and render an efficient sanction. If the judge determined that it carried 6 months or less, there would be no right to a jury trial unless the judge in his discretion chose to do so. So that's how basically it would trigger, and I just wanted to sort of brief you on it, because there's a lot of confusion about how contempts are handled. There's been some cases in the last 10 years that have sort of set down those standards that we have to go by following up on contempt procedure. If you have not reviewed these orders, please do so. The one that I'm going to ask the sheriff to serve on you was the most recent one. And the reason I'm asking to do it, we want it clear on the record, and this is from the Attorney General's discussion with me, we want it clear on the record that everybody has due notice of that order. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask the sheriff to personally hand out a certified true copy of that last order to you so you can have it. He will duly note that it has been served on each of you. So we can clear up that notice concern that I had. Wanted to make absolutely sure that everybody understood where we were headed. If something else comes up. I'm sure some of you are aware of those previous orders because I see familiar faces that have been around and have been involved in court work, inside and out the court, and familiar with the discussions of what went on back in 2010 and even all the way back to 1992. So this time, Sheriff, if you would pass those out, then we'll talk about that a little bit. Okay, y'all can review those. I'm going to tell you now, it was a little embarrassing to me. Several months ago, after that complaint was filed, I had one of your citizens here who's a very upstanding, prominent citizen. I ran up on at a dinner outside the county. And he came up to me. He didn't have any kind of things to say about all of this that's happened in the past and what had allegedly happened the other month. He walked up to me. He said, "Judge, imagine this is your order." He said, "You know what some of the Dillon County Council members think of your order?" I said, "What's that, sir?" He said, "This." Now, how am I supposed to react to that? I reacted by keeping my mouth shut, that I'm trained to do. But that was embarrassing. So please, govern yourselves accordingly and don't put yourself in a position where court or any other judge that may pass through here has to deal with this. It has got to stop. All of you know your duties. Just to give you sort of a brief overview, and I'm not here lecturing y'all on the law. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm trying to give you some sage advice. Your duties include setting appropriate county policies, passing a balanced budget. At least you better make it balanced. Filling appointments and commissions as you may be required to do. Enacting ordinances that are legal and reasonable. We've had a problem with that. And filling any other statutory requirements that you may have. The bottom line, and I will get out of y'all's hair, please understand I don't want to be here. I'd rather be over there in the courtroom finishing up paperwork or heading back home than to be here. Like I said, I was embarrassed over what that citizen did to me. But the bottom line is, cut out the micromanaging. You have a highly qualified man that I have known quite some time as your county administrator. Let him do his job. Practically everything has to go through him. Specifically, everything's got to go through him when you're dealing with county employees. Do not approach an elected official unless you first talk with your very sharp and intelligent county attorney. He knows. If he doesn't know, I've known him long enough, he's going to find out exactly how you can approach any problem you may have. So use their talents. I cannot answer any questions. I'm not here to give legal advice. I'm just trying to get everything straight because I don't want to see anybody get in trouble. And I know, after all my years of experience, how easy it is nowadays to have a problem. I was at a recent conference in Washington. We were informed that there are over 350,000 different federal regulations that if you violate, you can face jail time. So it is a difficult job y'all face, and it is so easy, especially to be tempted by some complaining constituent to get yourselves in trouble. Use your attorney, rely on your county administrator to handle these problems. We three got something in common, I can tell you that. Sometimes we all like to see a little fireworks show. But not in the case of elected officials. So, don't, please, follow the law, and everything will be okay, and use your resources. Mr. Chairman, thank you for the time. I probably took it a little longer than you wanted me to take, but it's been a long day for me. I started out in Marlboro County, and I just finished up a few minutes ago across the street. Looking forward to work with you in any way I can, but remember, when it comes to the court, employees, use your two experts here. Thank you very much.
To make a comment, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Just comment. I know you said that you were not going to ask questions and answer questions, and certainly I understand that. But we as a council want you to know that none of us up here intentionally are going to go out and try to break your order or the court order. I mean, we're a little more intelligent than that, and I know you know this. But one of the things that disturbs me, and it disturbs me, how someone could go to you and just say, this is how we feel. And Terrell, sir, we don't feel that way. I don't know how they arrived to that point. I think that's the point I want to kind of project towards you. How could they arrive to such attitude to say that this council just feels this way about a court order? We just wouldn't do that.
I would imagine, I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine that was triggered by a possible county employee that felt confronted by maybe a council member.
And I've seen this before, Your Honor. I've been here since 2008 or 9. You know, a lot of things you said, and I certainly embrace it. But sometimes they twist your order, and they end up causing problems for the administrator. Some of them will take your order and twist it, and they won't work. I mean, the administrator, again, he has a lot on his hands. So it's kind of difficult on both ways, and you would know that by previously serving on the county council, what kind of difficult tasks that we have here, you know, to try to govern and try to move Dillon County forward. Dillon County is headed in a good direction, and we want you to know that.
I appreciate that. Y'all have made a lot of progress. You got an inland port down here that's going to bring in a lot of, you got some industries coming in. I commend you and commend Rodney for work on that. that's making you shine, but understand, I know quite often you are tempted. Had a little problem in Chesterfield County years ago. It didn't result in any court action. And it was over a county councilman going to the public works superintendent, directing them which roads to go scrape. I understand how tempting that can be. You know John Doe that runs your motor grader in your district, and it's so easy to go and say, John, would you go down there and get Joe's road, the storm the other night, caused some ruts down there, somebody's gonna break an axle. Don't fall into that trap. Take the extra 2 to 5 minutes and call Rodney and let him know, and you won't have any problem.
I have a question. Judge, on elected officials, I understand, I know in our past, we've had some issues with, we get a report from our county treasurer, and some of them shows that they had, $700,000 available, and we didn't have it. If we asked the finance director, he says it's not available. And so I think that's where the question got concerning, asked the county treasurer, about the money. And she met with the finance committee, the county administrator, and she told us that the money wasn't there. It had been spent, she didn't know where it went to. So it kind of got involved, that's when the questions got to come in. If we have any questions going forward, could talk to the county administrator, would he be the one that would need to contact the county treasurer about those? Would he be the one that would?
Certainly, I'm not saying cut off all communication, or the county attorney, either one. They can communicate that, but you can't go in and direct an elected official as to what they've got to do. You got to understand with those financial parts, there's certain security items, and probably some of you are not familiar with this, but if things haven't changed, the county treasurer gets a lot of their legal advice and their directions as to what they can release and what their duties are through the Comptroller General's office. I know that's quite often more so they contact the Comptroller than they do the Attorney General about any issues that come up.
Well, I just, going forward, like I say, we still don't know where that, where those funds went, and we have had some back and forth question about it, and I just want to make sure that, if I come to Rodney, is it okay if Rodney talks to her, and, or, how does that need to go?
No, that's perfectly all right.
Perfect,
But the county administrator can't go over there and start directing.
if he's got concerns, could he ask a question?
You got to understand that as tempting as it may be, there's certain items that you would probably like to address yourselves and control the money that flows out to some entity. In normal circumstances, you just can't do it. Everything as far as money needs to go through the county treasurer because she has to account to the comptroller and to the auditors. So, with that said,
Hey Judge, how you doing, sir?
good.
I know a few months back I went to make contact trying to get in touch with you. What proper channel we need to follow to talk to you? We still need stuff we need to talk to you about. I don't think this is the appropriate time. But we need to go through the county attorney. Thanks, sir.
And I can tell you the problem about what happened there. The elections were not complete.
Yes, sir.
And there was feelings from other candidates that it would be improper for me to meet with other candidates before the election was complete. So I automatically saw a red flag going up, and I didn't want to be in trouble myself, so I said, we better not do that. Sometimes you just have to use the best judgment you have.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, I want to thank you for coming again, and certainly I want to just say this is my last statement. I just hope nobody has heard you today or has go out of this room and use the judicial system as something to sick somebody on. I hope nobody takes that and want to use what happened today to just sick somebody on somebody. I just hope nobody takes that out of this room and realize and say to themselves, well, if I want to get these guys, I'll just sick the court on them. See what I'm saying?
That's why you would have due process and certainly have an attorney that could defend you. But, after review these statutes and get a general idea, you're not gonna be tempted by your constituents sometimes who want things that are just impossible under the law and can cause problems. And I can certainly say this, I didn't want to dare pursue anything until I knew everybody had notice of those previous orders, and that's why I said, I told the Assistant Attorney General, I said, well, let's give some due notice out there and then we'll take it from there. And I trust we don't have any further problem because, like I said, as you are, so have I been. And,
Thank you, sir.
I can tell you this in closing. In service on county council, it can be intimidating. You can catch a lot of heat from your constituents. But if you really want to catch some heat, run for the school board and get elected.
We ain't got that to worry about here. We'll point out. We'll point out.
And congratulations to the champions. I was proud of you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Thank you. Moving right along with the agenda, public hearing. We're going to sign up for public hearing. A, 6A, to amend ordinance number 12, 7, providing for the closing and demolition of dwelling unfit for human habitation.
We're all excited about that one, Chairman.
Just take that for information.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving right along to 6B, an ordinance authorizing improvements to Title 12, Chapter 44 of the Code of Laws of South Carolina, 1976, as amended, execution of lieu of a fee and of aid of valor taxes and agreement by and between Dillon County, South Carolina, and a company known to the county as Project Freedom, as sponsored and one or more sponsors affiliated to provide for a fee in lieu, aid valorem tax incentive, and certain special source revenue credits and other related matters.
We're going forward with the public hearing, although you won't see third reading on the ordinance, because we still have some details to work out.
Okay, all right, moving on to 6C, an ordinance authorizing execution of the of a fee and lieu of tax agreement by and between Dillon County, South Carolina Public Foods LLC with respect to certain economic development properties in the county, whereby such property will be subject to certain payment in lieu of taxes, including provision of certain special source credit and other matters relating thereto. Project Vanilla.
Have no commentary on that whatsoever.
Right, sir. Moving right along with agenda number 7, administrative report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just got a few brief items before we get to the exciting stuff. Cleanup day, we've got designated, I get this wrong every time, is it August 2nd? I said that today, June 3rd. That will be our cleanup day. We'll work that Saturday and we'll clean up the entrances and pick up areas on the right-of-ways throughout the county. We're expecting visitors, so we're going to tidy up. Wanted to make you aware, we had a department head meeting this morning, had all our departments here. We were absent just a few. We gave them a weekly report to fill out, and we'll address some items that are concerned at council. So I think that was a step in the right direction. It appears that I hope that it appears that our employees have the morale's pretty good here, largely due to the things we do up here. We have a seminar. I had the guys from Small Business Development Center out of Florence contact me. I had done seminars with them in previous jobs, and on June 20th, they're going to be here at the Wellness Center. Thank the city, they gave us the space gratis. But it'll be important to our constituents and business leaders because it deals with obtaining federal contracts from the government. I've seen this seminar. It's a very good seminar, so invite all your business friends to attend that. We'll have more as we go forward. Part of the A-tax, which is still subject to you guys' approval, we don't have any welcome signs in Dillon County. So this is just a rendition that we will propose. Dillon County, South Carolina welcomes you alive on I-95. That has been asked for within the capital sales tax, and I think maybe Charles will update y'all some on that. But this is a rendition that I'd like for all you to look at when you got some time. But I look forward to welcoming people within the borders of Dillon County. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. D. Gonna strike the D, sir.
My apologies. Yes, I'd like to strike item D from
Moving right along. Item 8, new businesses. We need to try to get all this together if we can, one after one, you know what I'm saying? It's Latta High School Girls Softball State Championship 2A, Latta High School Boys Baseball Lower State Championship 2A, Lakeview High School Boys Lower State Championship 1A, recognition of Mr. Ed Horne, and we're going to do that in that order. So at this time, we're going to ask the coaches for the Lakeview Latta High School Girls Softball State Champion. And Mr. Fink, I'm going to ask you to step out with me.
Latta Softball Class 2A State Championship Girls Softball.
Me being the county councilman from Latta, I was so proud of these girls. And I remember when Stephanie Johnson played herself, and now she's coaching, and they won the state championship. And I know, thinking about Michael Rogers, made them play that much harder. And I know we're so proud and happy for y'all and for the town of Latta.
Thank you, sir.
Good job here.
This time we're going to get the Latta boys.
These are two of our senior players, Daniel Khalil and Dennis Williams.
Presented to the Latta Vikings Baseball Class 2A Lower State Championship.
I'd like to say again, I want to thank Coach Creel. What a good job he's doing. And I'm so proud of these Latta boys. And y'all are state champions, in my opinion. Everybody can have a bad day. Y'all play some good baseball this year. Thank you a lot.
Lakeview Wildcats Baseball, 1A State Championships. Coaches, please. Presented to the Lakeview Wildcats Baseball Class 1A Lower State Championship.
I'd like to say one thing, if you would please. I've always been so proud of Lakeview with all the football state championships, baseball state championships, unknown. Dillon, football, different championships, basketball, Latta. Are we proud of Dillon County? State championship. I get so sick of going to state championships. I mean, come on. Have you realized how many teams in the state that has never been to a state championship in the history of their school? And Dillon County, we run into each other on 95 trying to get a state championship. Proud of you, Coach Dillon.
Mr. Ed Horne to come forward. If you come forward.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Coward. Mr. Coward. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. This man has a long time service with us. As you can see that smile, he keeps people going out there. He tells us, you keep them going out there, don't you?
Yeah.
But we recognize you for your 45 years of service, and it seems even longer than that. I got to know you pretty quickly just because of your personality. County Council and all those behind him greatly appreciate it for what you've done for such a long period of time, sir.
Thank you, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good job. Good service.
Thank y'all for having us. Are we good? Okay, thank you for having us.
Congratulations.
Me, chair. You got the right.
That's the point.
Hey, Mr. Dillon, how you, sir?
Right, you did.
Sir, see what a good picture you got in.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving back to the agenda, the new business, 8E, auditor proposal bid.
Yeah, we've sent all bids out and gotten 3 bids back. Now we got bids for each one of you. If y'all want to look at them, or I can just give them to you. See each proposed
We
bid.
ain't gonna be voting on it today, are we?
Oh, you could if you wanted to.
There's no action on it.
We just have time to study them.
Okay, you can pass them out, but Shaheen, Hancock, and Goodwin, this is our bid we did for a 3-year period. The first year was $28,250, the next year is $29,500, the third year will be $30,000. The other bid was from Love and Bailey. They were $33,500, year 1 through 3. Other bid was Webster Rogers did rebid. They came in at $33,300 first year, $33,900 second, $34,600 third year.
You have all the information in those.
Yeah, each one package. And Sheehan, they did have a maximum audit fee in theirs.
All right, give it to us after the meeting. Moving right along with the agenda, Northeast and Take presentation.
I was notified earlier today that they wouldn't make it, Mr. Chairman.
Strike that. All right. On the 8G recreation, please.
Okay, in your package, you have, there is, I don't know if y'all can look, but there is like a check. If y'all remember Makia Murphy, that, y'all gave her $150 last year because she was, in the Miss South Carolina pageant. She never used this check. It was never deposited or anything. So she is back in the Miss South Carolina again this year, and she's wanting to know if she can get this check back. So we'd have to reprint it, but it would come out of this year's budget, not last year's.
It comes from the,
So I didn't know.
from our recreation or?
Yeah, it came from your recreation.
Mine specifically? Should have been mine specifically.
It came from 3 different ones. 3,100. I think that must have been Randy's maybe. And Archie
And Harold said he
and
did.
Harold. I think that's what it was.
You have a problem giving it to us? No. All right, we need a
So okay
motion.
to give her that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then we have, the sports report, I think all of y'all have seen this, the high school sports report. That will be $150 from each councilman's
Starting the new budget.
Right.
I
That's
explained
all.
that to him when he came to talk to me. I explained that he's already got it for his previous budget.
Right,
He's gonna wait until July 1st to get it again.
right.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Motion this time to approve the first report.
Make a motion.
Second. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? DHEC proposal.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna, just for information that only at this point, we'll put it for you to vote on next, at our next meeting, that it pertains to the DHEC property, which is somewhat dilapidated, and it's something we've got to address. They've teamed with Care South and have realized some grant money, and so what I've spoken to you about this before, but they've counter-proposed, although the same amounts, what they have asked. I think there's some legal terms, and I think our attorney had some concerns about donating the property to Care South or to DHEC. So what their legal suggestion was that we donate that property, which is about $14,000 not donate, but have Care South buy it from us at $6,000, and then in return, we give $6,000 opposed to our normal mandate of $14,000 to them next year. So ultimately, it's a wash. But we'll put this before you in the ordinance because it's going to be deeding over some land or the sale of land.
But I know, we discussed too, they wanted us to do the maintenance on the building.
It wouldn't be our responsibility.
Private building.
No, sir, it would not be our responsibility.
Thanks, sir. Moving along with 8I, will be accommodation tax report, Mr. Charles Taylor.
Sheriff and County, I think in your package y'all all had one of these, 3 pages. I think y'all probably had time to study them. You know, this was put before me. I tried to do the best I could. I think we had 1 or 2 new projects that were presented that we proposed for y'all to fund. I did wind up spending all the money down to zero. Just take a moment to look over. You see your projects for Dillon. You'll see at the bottom of that page where it says project for Dillon, Rodney addressed the signs. Melissa and myself have been trying to find spots. I guess Rodney will let y'all know what spots to find, and y'all can decide if that's what you want, whatever y'all decide to do. But going to the back page of that, we'll look at our line item 5, where it's advertising promotions. We pull 5,400. You got that?
Stephen, look in your packet too, there's one in your packet also.
We pulled $5,407.43 from that, and you'll see in just a minute what we're doing. That would leave for advertising and promotions going to the chamber, $20,080.89. And then when you flip over and look at your Latta projects and your Lakeview projects, basically they're the same. And this is last year's money. We've never given it out. We got to June the 30th to give it out. If you'll come down to the bottom of that page, you'll see where I put line item 5 to 54,743, and out of that money was $56,312.57. It was $1,812.57 that I did not spend of that A-tax money, and I put it together to be able to fund the signs and the project of our county administrator. That would pay for the signs, and everybody's happy. Also, you know, as this being given to me, I followed the guidelines, and everybody took an application this year, got a set of guidelines and the state legislative law for it. And this is what has come back, and I haven't had any problems with it. Every application will be on file. I have an application on file. In that application, you'll see a summary of the event, how it was successful, was it not successful. You'll also see the advertisements that they did. That'll be attached to the application. It'll be placed in the file. So when they apply for the money again, we can tell if it was a good event, a bad event, and council can decide what they'd like to do with the best money. The same was with the theater in itself. So all of them come back, with the exception of a few, with their summarization and with their advertising. Question on, if you had any questions on the pop-up that was in there, I'd like to address it as far as what that is. That's, they buy pens and pads and keychains and give various giveaways, buy bags. People always call them chamber for requests, these sort of things. And then, you know, some of our ball teams, like when I think Steve used, they give you some money one time for his teams to go out of town when he played in the World Series. It's just things that come along through the run of the year that they don't have to come to us. They can go to there and then get a little bit of money to do that with. And just giving back, and it's just usually tourism related. So I'll leave it up to y'all whether you want to pass it or not pass it. If so, I'll notify everybody once y'all let me know what to do. That pretty much takes care of any questions.
Motion this time to approve the combination tax report.
Make that motion.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thanks, sir. All right, moving right along to 8J, quote for truck maintenance.
What kind of brought this on, I think? This part about a 99 Dodge truck that Bobby Horne been driving has finally expired. What we're thinking about is giving Tony Cole's old black Ford truck he drives for maintenance, let Bobby Horne get that. Tony's been wanting a truck with a utility body on there to keep his tools and all. And of course, it's under a state contract. I think the truck itself was $25,608, and the utility bed was $7,196. Gives us a total of $32,804.
Mr. Administrator, let me address you with your report. And shouldn't we strike this at the moment? We're still working on the budget.
Right.
Just talk about a shortfall. Just strike this and see.
That is a legitimate comment, Mr. Chairman. However, I'm somewhat dubious about that because it is a working truck as we speak, and him not having a truck as we speak does impede his duties.
He does not have a truck.
No, he's driving a van that, an old van that the sheriff, but if council chooses to do that, until we approve a budget, I mean, that's understandable.
Oh, we're the $100-something thousand out. That's my opinion. Anybody else can give their opinion here too. I think we need to at least look at what you think, Mr. Bowles. We need to look at the budget.
We got the money in there, in the budget, anywhere to get it.
I think we have nothing.
Where you gonna get the money?
It's a difficult spend.
Yeah, I think if I knew where to get, if the money was there, I can't put myself.
Address it, Richard.
Yeah, we really don't have it budgeted, but it's just kind of something that popped up. And we were planning on putting it in the budget for this coming year.
You had it in that expenditures over here,
Right.
then you just had it for 30.
Can we look at it further down the road then?
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on to finance report.
Okay. We're having the general fund, current got $2,936,023. We also still have the Anderson Brothers Savings Account. That's got $200,127.15. And that's still restricted for the debt service fund. So the net available funds we have is $2,936,023.
$2 million.
Yeah, $2 million. $2 million. Also, if you want to go to the revenue and expenditure statement fund, it's on page 19. Currently, with this year's taxes in, we've got more revenues and expenses in the amount of $1,312,610.
Richard, what we got reserved now?
And reserve would be, I guess, the general fund would be the $2 million.
Not going to have a reserve no more.
No. And the other Fund 45 account is out of this. It's not showing, it's not reflected. The restricted funds are not reflected in this amount.
Mr. Gagnon.
So, the county treasurer hasn't furnished you any information that shows that she's moved that. I know the county council voted maybe 2 months ago or 3 months ago to put that money in 2 separate saving accounts. I know you're saying restricted, but did she give you any documentation that's restricted? I mean, that she put in a different account? It ain't in the general fund?
Now, I can look on trial balance and see what she's moved it out of,
Could you,
out of this fund.
Mr. Barry, could he check that and maybe let the council have a copy where she's putting in 2 separate accounts?
We'll get you the copy of the explanation I received as of yesterday, that money was put where she puts all restricted accounts, that it's at her, not pleasure. It's under her discretion to put it under separate accounts. It has been removed from the general fund to a restricted account where all restricted, am I speaking right? All restricted money is put in.
So shouldn't it show up on our finance report that we get from her? I mean, shouldn't it show that it's a separated instead of saying that's county part of it? I mean, shouldn't it be separated where Lakeview area will know what they got, Latta area will know what they got, and then we'll know what we got as far as general fund?
No, well, the first figure I gave you is what's available to y'all, the $2,900,000.
But that's counting that, right?
That's out. That's not counting.
But she ain't give you nothing to show that that's been put into 2 separate
You've
funds.
got it in the restricted accounts.
Yeah, it's in it, I can tell you the restricted account, but it's more than those 2 accounts in that restricted account.
I was thinking the vote of the council, I know Mr. Moody wasn't here, but 6 council voted for her to put those in 2 separate saving accounts. And she kind of, last what I heard, that's what she was gonna do.
Okay, I don't know if
I mean, it's her discretion at this time, because we don't have an investment authority in place. It's her thing to put in which banks or whatever, put them along those things. But it was still the vote of 6 councilmen voted that the Lakeview money was gonna be in a separate account, and the Latta money was gonna be separate. Is that right, Mr. President? Ain't that the vote of the council? So, I mean, can you check that right tomorrow and let the council know?
I will, I feel like I've already got that explanation, but I'll double check that it was at her discretion that whether or not to put it in, anything other than 1 restricted account, but I'll double check.
Just let them know 6 council voted, they'd like to have it too. I mean, if it's, if you want to say she's against the 6 council. Thank you.
Anything further with the finance report? Now we're gonna move right along. 10 ordinance A. Third reading ordinance of Dillon County Council to amend the official zoning map, Dillon County to rezone and partial land known as tax map north portion of number 80, partial 92, 62 acres, portion of 80, parcel 17, 49.69 acres, portion of 68, partial 130, 39, and 8 printed property of Horne. With E. Cullen Bryant and Joseph Coward, current property owner, South Carolina State Ports Authority, tax map number 080-00-00-112. Location is along west side of CSX RR from West Countryside Road to West Fairfield Road, Dillon, South Carolina. Change from rural RU to general commercial GC in order to operate the inland port. Need a motion to pass the 3rd reading.
I'd like to make that motion to pass the 3rd reading.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Moving on to 10B, 3rd reading to amend ordinance number 12-07, providing for the closing or demolition of the dwelling unfit for human habitation. Motion to approve the 3rd reading. Motion. Any second? Second. All right, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Moving on. 10C, 3rd reading, ordinance authorizing the execution of delivery of fee in lieu of tax agreement by and between Dillon County, South Carolina, Purdue Foods LLC with respect to certain economic development property in the county, whereby such property will be subject to certain payment in lieu of taxes, including the provision of certain special source credits and other matters relating thereto. 3rd reading, need a motion to pass 3rd reading.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
At the request of the company, they've asked that we make no comment on this public.
Is it second? Second. All right. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, any opposed, move on to 10D.
Archie, who made that motion?
Right.
Thank you.
10D. Second reading, an ordinance to amend in operation, an ordinance establishing procurement code for Dillon County to provide a cap on county contracts not subject to council approval and to provide for a local vendor preference. Any motion for second reading?
Barry, you wanna explain that to us?
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna refer to.
We discussed it during the last meeting, but essentially our procurement code now, there's some ambiguities about what the limits are the council has to approve versus what the county administrator can approve. This clears up that anything over $5,000 has to be approved by the county council. And it also provides for a local vendor, you see the language in there, local vendor preference. There's some preference to folks that are in Dillon County that can be given by this ordinance as well. This is second reading, so I encourage you, if you see anything that you'd like to change about it before third reading, just let me know and we can discuss that before third reading.
Motion for second reading?
I'll make that motion for second reading.
Need a second? Second. All right. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Moving right along. 10E, second reading of ordinance to amend ordinance number 09-03, an ordinance to provide for animal control and provide for penalties for the violation of the provision of the ordinance to add special requirements for pit bulls within the unincorporated area of Dillon County. Motion passed second reading.
Second.
All right. Motion on the floor in this second.
I say,
All right, any discussions about the pit bull ordinance? Alan, you want just to brief us on that and then go
I can. This is essentially the same thing at the direction of council that the city of Dillon uses. Of course, adapts to the county animal control officer would be in charge of carrying out the provisions of this ordinance if it passes. There are some pretty stringent requirements, however, for folks who have pit bulls, and so I encourage you to review it and see if there are any changes that you all would want before third reading.
Motion and a second, and a discussion, all in favor, second reading? Any opposed? All right. Moving on along, 10F, first reading, reservation tax incentive charges for the county of Dillon.
Mr. Chairman, this is also, I'll let county administrator discuss it some, but I would add, this is going to have to be adapted some to change some of the language to fit the county. So I'd ask this first reading be done by title only, but if you go.
In short summary, what this is the mayor called me. We've actually had this in place before. They're passing an ordinance that if you have a building downtown and you renovate the facade on the outside or any upgrades, that we and the city would give individually, would give tax breaks. In other words, you would only pay taxes on the assessed value before the improvements, and that's for a period of time. It's a good incentive plan to clean up downtown. We've actually had this in place, but we had an expiration date on it before, so.
it's a town, it's incorporated area, town of Dillon.
That's a great point, is that just?
It would only be outside of the cities. We can't pass an ordinance to bind anything inside the cities without their agreement to that, so this would only be for outside.
Yeah. I think we got one of our city council, I think it's misleading, because I think they talking about in the city of Dillon, ain't you, John? That's what I thought too. They talking about these buildings on Main Street.
Right. We would go in with them.
What we would do, the way I understood it, I talked to the mayor also, that we wouldn't go up on the tax. In other words, if the bid valued $50,000 now, and they spent $100 on it, we wouldn't go back and revalue it.
And that's why I wanted to do it by title only today, so that we can make these revisions. But we can do it by agreement with the city,
Yeah.
but we can't do it on our own.
Okay.
So that's why I want
Title only.
title
Well,
only.
just strike it and have more discussion at some point. It's confusing to me.
Well, and here's what it is, and here's what I'm unclear about. This may just pertain to the city of Dillon. I don't think it pertains to Latta, because we're doing MOI.
Well, we would have to enter into an agreement with each town if we wanted to do it.
And this one's Dillon at this point. Mr. Chairman, I will make it perfectly clear. I think it's okay at your discretion to have the first reading, and I'll come back and be very clear in the second reading, and of course the third reading will approve it.
Okay. Need a motion to approve the first reading by title only then?
I'll make that motion.
All right, second.
I say,
All right, any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, TNG, first reading of ordinance of Dillon County, South Carolina to amend and amended and restated agreement for development of a joint county industrial and business park by and among Dillon County, Marion County, South Carolina, and Marlborough County, South Carolina, so as to enlarge county of certain special source revenue bonds and other matters relating to the foregoing.
Okay, this is by title only, and do note that this does not mean to enlarge the geographical area of the Tri-County Park. Council's spoken very clearly that, after this partnership, that's all. So this is not enlarging the land. This just makes it available for a multi-county park. This is even a little confusing to me, and if council desires, on our next reading, I can have our attorneys to phone in so you can, so you have, I think you can explain it better than I can. But it does not include enlarging that acreage physically to the park.
This is an area of law that I'm not as up on. That's why we engage outside counsel to help with those matters. So if you have questions about it, we can have Brandon or someone in on the next meeting to explain.
Probably would be good, because whether it mean it or not, it is stated in the ordinance.
Yeah. I'll let him explain. I understand it, but I just can't convey it.
Before we pass the first reading, can we just get him to come, just line him up to come to our next meeting?
Is there anything standing that we needed to get started on this? Was it because of special source revenue?
It is.
Bond that we may have to go down?
It is. If you don't want to proceed with it, first reading, just because you had first reading, you don't have to give second
Yeah,
reading.
you would stop on it. So please consider passing first reading.
I don't want to try confusion. The way Brandon kind of explained it to me, the way its park is now, the new Harbor Freight that's in the Tri-County Park, it's being split three ways, but the other property, the agricultural property, is just being split one way. The tax just comes to Dillon County.
Am I correct that the very first part of Harbor Freight, the very first building that was built, I believe, was a 500,000 square foot building, and Dillon County gets all of that tax?
That's
from the very first part. And then the Tri-County Park didn't kick in until the second part. Am I correct? Or
That's my
is my
understanding.
memory fading on me?
No, I think that's my understanding of it.
Okay, and then in other words, everything past the first 500,000 feet is in the Tri-County Park and we split the taxes. But I think I'm correct when I say Dillon County gets 100% of the first 500,000 square feet.
Right.
I think if you'll check the legislation, that my memory.
I think that's right. But I think the way the confusion is whether they got the park divided up so the agricultural section that had been developed, that tax is not split three ways.
Right.
All comes to Dillon. So this way, when they say enlarge it, that's going to be the new portion with the new addition Harbor Freight store.
All right. Richard, is this where we would be doing the special source revenue bond?
No.
Something down further, right?
Yeah, that's the resolution.
Motion to pass the first reading.
Make that motion.
Second. Second. All right, any further discussion? All in favor of the first reading? All right, moving on to D, letter H. First reading budget fiscal year 2017-2018.
This, Mr. Chairman, resulted from actually a conversation late yesterday evening and this morning. We were putting this resolution in front of you with full confidence. We still have full confidence, but added protection. You see in front of you, don't let me get ahead of myself.
You're talking about H.
I'm ahead of myself.
That's all right, sir. So, 10H, first reading budget fiscal year 17-18.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to pass the title on the first reading of the budget.
Need a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving right, sir. 1011, resolution. A, authorize the execution delivery of a memorandum and understanding between Dillon County, South Carolina, Harbor Freight Tools USA Incorporated, a Delaware corporation, the company in connection with provision by Dillon County of certain incentives to to the company relating to the company of expansion of its existing facility, Dillon County, authorizing and ratifying prior and future acts of certain Dillon County officials with regard to the foregoing of other matters related thereto.
Okay, now, as of yesterday evening, I would be completely comfortable with asking the council to pass this resolution of this MOU. However, we had a few things in one item that really concerned us. So what you see in front of you is a red line document. And so I'm going to ask you to sign the red line document, which simply states, you have it in front of you? You guys can. Okay, if you don't mind looking at this, you'll see on the second page, I've talked with Brandon, this happened at 2 o'clock, and this is the protection we need, it's section 2. Are y'all there? So what we did was strike out the chairman of county council and the county administrator together, or either of them acting alone, shall be and hereby authorized and directed. We strike out directed because we still got an issue we need to iron out. That was an important thing to strike out. Then we have an exhibit that we want to include, and it says such change to include without limitation, incorporation, or attachment of documentation or information to be attached as Exhibit A and Exhibit B. Let me tell you what this means. We have somewhat agreed and came to terms and told you folks that we would, the road, we've got $1 million shortfall for Project Badger, right? We've got estimates from engineers of what that road will cost. We feel very confident about these cost estimates, but stranger things have gone wrong. So our exhibit that we're presenting now back to the Project Badger is that all we're committed to is $1 million of a special source revenue bond or a commercial loan or what other ways to make up that downfall. In other words, if that road comes in at $4 million, the county is not on the hook for the $2 million shortfall, just the $1 million. So with this in place, we're not committed to make up a $2 million shortfall opposed to a $1 million shortfall. That transpired yesterday afternoon in a conference call. So signing it or agreeing to it, we hadn't signed anything, but agreeing to it with this changes with our attorney, that gives us a safeguard that we don't make up. If the road comes in more than what the engineer said it would, we're not going to make it up. We don't have the ability to make it up.
You need a motion to approve the resolution, just as information.
Well, we won't, it's not for information because this triggers the MOU. This triggers the MOU. But, you know, I sit here with you in comfort with it worded this way that we're okay because the chairman nor I believe, will sign anything without you folks knowing and without an attachment saying that we're not going to go beyond what we've already committed to this project because we don't have the ability to. It's not even a desire, it's ability at this point.
Mr. Attorney, how do you feel about this language?
But this is heavily negotiated, and they didn't, there was no give and take much, but without this language in it, it puts the county at substantial risk of having to pay more than we've agreed to pay. With this language in, we will have the comfort that we will only meet the $1 million we've agreed to, and no more. And I don't know how it's going to be taken by them, but we just don't have any choice.
And that's an important note. This happened as late as yesterday, and I've got this redrawn document to about 2 o'clock today. So the project has not seen this, but we wanted to move forward. We showed good faith that we're still willing to work, but we can't do what we can't do. I don't know how the project's going to receive this language.
They may not agree to it, and that's fine. They don't have to, but this is the only way we can move forward at this time with any comfort for the taxpayers in Dillon County.
As you said that, Mr. Getty, Could you maybe explain, I know in our tri-county meeting, we kind of talked about some other avenues where it wasn't they always $1 million on the burden of the citizens of the county. Can you kind of brief us where we stand on that? With the tri-counties?
Right, I kind of went into it thinking we could try to do a special source revenue bond. Since Harbor Freight is located in Dillon County, it kind of, full obligation really relies on Dillon County. But Dillon County, project moving forward, so we're trying to get around not doing a special source revenue bond. Check with one bank, they were not interested in doing it just in Tri-County Park. The other major bank not interested in doing it as a special source revenue bond, but just through Tri-County Park. But they're going to look at it for the commercial end. And also a local bank is looking at it on commercial type loan.
If we pass the first reading today, it won't tie us up and nothing, we can get that bond, that loan through the tri-county with it.
No, I think that's still out there to do it either way.
I mean, cause, we only get a third of the taxes, but, we put the whole burden of the $1 million on the taxpayer of Dillon County. And
well, I mean, we got pretty good collateral.
we just borrowed $3.2 million maybe 3 months ago, and we had another $1 million, that's 4.2. That'd be a lot of burden on the taxpayer.
Yeah, but we're, as far as Dillon County, we're pretty well collateralized since we actually receive taxes and then have to go back out.
At this time, entertain a motion to pass the resolution. The motion to pass this resolution.
I'll make that motion to pass that resolution.
Second. All right, any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving down to D, 12A. It is an appointed Dillon County Public-Private Economic Partnership Board, District 2, Jack Scott.
Mr. Adler Strickland.
All right, this time we need a motion to approve the appointment of Mr. Alan Strickland to the Economic Development Partnership Board.
Jack makes that motion.
Jack.
Can we make that motion?
All right, motion made by Councilman Scott. Need a second?
I second.
Second by Councilman Gallo. Any further discussion? All in favor of Mr. Alan Strickland? Any opposed? All right, move on. Council comments. Any councilman have any comments they'd like to make at this time? They do so.
I'd like to ask the administrator, Mr. Barry, that mean that at this point we can move forward and start turning down some of these houses once it's been approved now?
And with the proper complaint and the proper due diligence on property owners, yes, sir.
Do we have the paperwork ready for the people to sign that on the property that's giving the consent or whatever?
I think we did draft some, but I'll double check. If not, we'll do so pronto.
We need a complaint first. I mean, that's still what triggered either from the sheriff or somebody that lives in the area.
Well, I asked that because I see some of my citizens over there and we ready to move forward. I just want to make sure it's being clear.
If I had a complaint, do I have to go to the sheriff, or you got some paperwork I can fill out and turn it directly
You come to the county administrator.
county administrator?
The complaint from the sheriff has to go to the county administrator.
So we can go ahead and move forward on this.
Or residents which is within 2 miles. Is the complaint, that's right.
They call you or call the sheriff?
They can call either, as I understand, right?
Well, the sheriff can do a written complaint, or any citizen that lives owns property within 2 miles of the subject property can make a complaint, yeah.
They have to come up and sign the paper
That's right,
themselves,
has to be
or they
written,
can just call.
that's right, has to be a written complaint.
So what he's asking, we don't need a form, they can just make a complaint.
That's right.
Right.
And then he has to, the county administrator or his designee has to make a decision about whether the property is in fact.
Did we nominate him, appoint him for that?
That's correct.
So we ready to move forward? Thank you, sir.
But do tell all your constituents to show patience, you know.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be a process to get there,
But we ready to move forward?
I know you are.
Any other council member here? Mr. Rice, Moody, any other comments? Mr. Franklin, Mr. Scott? All right. want to thank everybody for coming. On the agenda, we have an executive session on economic development matter. If you want to wait outside the council chambers until we convene in the regular meeting, certainly you can. But again, we thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, to the punch, our guest for the economic development matter has not shown up.
Okay. That's right there. Well, we do not have economic development. At this time, we entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
Can I get a second?